And welcome back, everyone. We are into the second half of games tonight, and we will be seeing Beyond Gaming taking on Impunity. Excited to see the results of that one, although it will be a tough climb for the Singaporean squad. Before we get into it, I do want to take a moment to thank our wonderful sponsors, CTBC Bank, China Airlines, and Chunghwa Telecom. Thank you so much for making the PCS possible. Alrighty, Clement, this game, we've got Beyond Gaming, who have been quite hot of late, taking on Impunity. And I think Beyond, this is a team that they've shown a few weaknesses. Boom has shown how to beat them. But Impunity are just starting to turn the corner. This is going to be a tough task for them.
I would definitely say so myself. They're going up against Megabank Beyond Gaming that, in my opinion, is kind of the standard bearer of what the meta is in the PCS right now. PSG are so far advanced, they have alien technology that nobody can copy them, so they're just off on their own.
Alien technology from the future. They're yes. Way out there.
Yeah, so I think Megabank has been really defining the meta. They are the team that's just like straight beeline Varus, straight beeline Diana. And after they've found a lot of success on it, everyone else has just been picking it up. Doggo right now, he's pretty much a one-trick Varus. You know what you're going to get from him. Usha, just because his carry potential is so great, his early game pathing is very clean as well. He's just going being straight beeline Diana, and they're building their compositions around that. So I think Beyond Gaming, they have a very clear identity, and that also makes it interesting for Impunity because you know what you're up against. The question is, can you find the correct answer?
And it's difficult to do. Very few teams have managed to find an answer successfully against the likes of Beyond Gaming. PSG, I mean, yeah, okay, they don't really count, as we mentioned. They're really all the way off in the stratosphere. But Boom Esports, really the only other squad that's been able to do it. I think the one question maybe for this Beyond squad is Liang up in the top for a while. PK was kind of the standard bearer for this team, but they swap him away. No more tanks in the top. It's really all about those carries. Liang has played mostly Camille. Maybe that's an answer. I mean, this is a lane up against Top King on the side of Impunity, and as we've talked about before, 11.14 is certainly his patch, and for Impunity as a whole, they've seemed to find their swagger back at least just a little bit since that patch did drop for competitive.
I have to agree with you here. I feel like if there is one player that is somewhat exploitable, it will be that top side coming in from Megabank Beyond Gaming. Liang took a long hiatus. I feel like his stat line is still completely fine, but in terms of the laning phase, there has been a lot of questions showing up there. And Top King does have great champion pool to sort of punish that. We have him mostly on Camille, and I think Aurelio is actually a decent champion to just go into that matchup. On the other hand, the bot lane is very interesting for me as well, because we have Blaze, who has also been just straight line Varus. Like, he's basically playing nothing else, and that has been the main upswing for Impunity. So these two lanes, there's a lot of interesting things that can go on, and I frankly do see Impunity having a chance in these lanes. I'm not going to say a huge chance, but definitely is going to be a chance as we take a look at the bot lane 80 carries. Both of them, straight Varus games. They're playing nothing else recently. They're just locking in Varus whatever chance they get. But if you look at the laning phase stats, of course Doggo is going to come out ahead. I will say that he did cool off quite a bit. That stat used to be twice as high.
Yeah, Doggo's had a few games where his bark has been a lot worse than his bite, let's say.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair to say. We have seen him just be over-aggressive and lose the 2v2. So it hasn't always been as clean as perhaps Megabank Beyond Gaming has wanted to. We go into the draft, and to no one's surprise, of course, Heimerdinger is just going to be banned out. I like the way that Megabank Beyond Gaming is dealing with this draft. They just don't want any surprises, so they're taking away every single champion Moonblack has.
Yeah, Moonblack has a very interesting champion pool. If you're somebody who's like you're flipping through channels on Twitch right now and you tune in and you're like, wait a minute, why is there a Heimerdinger and a Kled ban? This is not normal. This is an answer to Moonblack. On the opposite side, Impunity, they ban away the Gwen and the Viego. No surprises there. LeBlanc will follow through. Moonblack had finally taken a chance on the LeBlanc and found some success on it, so makes a lot of sense that Megabank Beyond Gaming would be trying to shut him down. Impunity have one more ban left before it goes the distance.
Man, this definitely feels bad when you're getting triple banned, and there are situations where if a player is triple banned, it just means that he's so powerful on certain champions. Other times it does mean that, in this case, Beyond Gaming is just trying to put him on something that he's not as comfortable with. I think his Silas and Azir were way worse than the three champions that Mega Bank Beyond Gaming has picked into. And in the Impunity's last game, we saw Moonblack in 3 team fights in a row just instantly die. Like, his life expectancy in team fights was, I'd say, less than 2 seconds. So he was definitely the target in those situations. And I like this answer coming out here. Impunity going for the Aurelia. Not only is it Top King's one of his best champions, it also deals really well with the Rise pick in the mid lane. So if Moonblack has that pick, we haven't seen it yet, but if he does, then that could also potentially be a counter.
Yeah, giving some options at the moment. And then, of course, they pair it up with Lee Sin for Epic. It does leave open the Xin Zhao into the next rotation, so that should be the pick for Husha. He has piloted this at least once, even though he tends to trend towards maybe a little bit more, well, I want to say a little bit more tanky. He's played a good mix of champions in the jungle, and this will be his second Xin Zhao game. For Beyond Gaming now, let's see if they follow up with the doggo pick. Varus has been the key, but they're not actually going to go for it on this rotation. Instead, they lock the Tahm Kench, and as we've seen in the previous game, this is a flex pick.
Yep, can go into multiple lanes here. We definitely have seen some Tahm Kenches just go with the Aphelios into the bot lane, kind of be a substitute for the Thresh. Personally, I still think Thresh is stronger, but you don't get the same flex potential with the pick. And in the meantime, Impunity is actually going to veer away from the Varus. It's been a while since we've seen Blaze on anything else, and their coach actually promised me that it was in his contract that he only could play Varus, but I guess times do change, and we're going to see him on the Ziggs pick instead. Impunity, it looks like they're going for a triple dive composition already. You have Lee Sin and Aurelia flying into the back line with the long-range artillery coming out from the Ziggs to finish off targets. Pretty decent idea. I like this draft so far. On the other hand, for Beyond Gaming, it does look more like a 1-3-1 draft to me. Not sure where this Tahm Kench is going to go, but so they still have a lot of flexibility in that role. And critically for me, Liang still has his Camille up, so that's usually what Beyond Gaming would draft in this scenario. Though they do have this Aurelia pick to think about. Oh, they actually banned it themselves. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, and Impunity focused so many bans on the bottom side of the map. I think Doggo probably goes Aphelios here. To pair with the Tahm Kench. If that does end up going to the bot side, we'll have to find out. Impunity have their next pickup, as they had already secured likely top, possibly mid. And the Alistar would be an interesting one. That's something that can set up some engagements. I think it's definitely on brand.
We have seen a couple answers to the Ziggs. Sibra's been one of the interesting ones.
I like the Jhin.
Yeah, the Jhin is... I
think Doggo wants to play
Aphelios is the more secure one, given the tools that they have. You have Crescent Guard against Triple Dive, and they still will go for the Thresh, so that does give them the Aphelios still.
Yeah. So Tahm Kench does go up to the top side, and they will pick up the Thresh, which has been, a high-priority champion, kind of picked up a little bit later and later in some of the matches here today. Impunity, we'll get to find out if Moonblack does have Aurelia in his champ pool after all.
Hovering the Gnar. Spicy. It will be the first time that Moonblack plays Aurelia if he does lock it in. And just as I say that, go for the Rumble jungle instead.
Okay.
I actually really like this composition from Impunity. It has a very clear identity, and it actually counters what Beyond Gaming wants to do. What they are setting up for is just long-range burst potential going on to backline targets. If you think about Mega Infernal, you have the Equalizer coming down, and then you have a triple dive with Lee Sin, Aurelia, and Alistar. That's actually very difficult for a backline to survive, so we have a situation where it's the ultimate defensive setup on Beyond Gaming with the Devour and Dark Passage against the ultimate aggressive setup from Impunity with Equalizer, Vanguard's Edge, and Inferno Mega bomb here.
Yeah, I like what Impunity's brought out. It's really just bringing all the artillery they can possibly muster into this fight. And against the likes of Beyond Gaming, it's not going to be easy to try and execute that, but they have so many tools in the kit to really try and get it. I love seeing a Rumble coming out here, and just the surprises for Top King and the champ pool just continue to impress. We focus so much in the early part of the split on Moonblack and his eclectic champion choices, but Top King just has so many different champions that he can bring out, and it's nice to see a Rumble too. You don't get to see it as often these days. I'm excited to see what it can bring. Moonblack on this Aurelia, we get to see how he handles that champion. For Beyond Gaming, this is a team that nameplate's on, they certainly look like the stronger squad, number 2 from Spring, and have had quite an impressive set of performances across this entire summer split. But will Impunity be the 3rd team to bring them down? That's the question.
And it's super interesting to watch this composition. I don't think we've had a lot of top lane rumbles at all throughout any of the major regions. Mainly it's just been jungle rumble. And I feel like this top lane matchup, it can go towards one side very easily. Both of these matchups lack mobility to get away from things, and it's very easy for Xin Zhao or Lee Sin to just swing this matchup in one side or the other. I do expect most of the attention to be in topside early game. Meanwhile, Impunity also have a couple of matchups here that I think are quite dangerous for their opponents, that is. Aurelia versus Ryze is another matchup where Ryze has a very difficult time getting out of the Vanguard's edge. The Flawless Duet earlier. Now we have the Flawless Duet, the activation time down to 0.25 seconds, whatever range it is. It's actually very common for Ryze to just die level 3. So we'll see if Impunity can make those lane leads materialize for their end, and if they do, I actually think they're off to a great start. This is a very enjoyable draft. I love these drafts where either sides are going for exact opposites and trying to counter each other out.
Yeah, definitely bringing some creativity both sides of the rift. Shout out to the coaching staffs on either side. We're certainly making this one at the very least entertaining. Let's go ahead and wait for just a second, because Top King, whoa, he spots the invade in time. He should be out. All right, let's talk a little bit about the runes at the moment.
Well, we do have Conquerors coming in from Top King, so this is pretty much the normal one, and it's not a jungle rumble, so you're not going to see any predators here. It's a bit more laning strength. The way he plays the lane is he probably tries to just shove it and control the minion wave. He does have that advantage over Tahm Kench, but what we've seen from Tahm Kench is that he's a massive lane bully. A lot of Tahm Kenches, I think the golden standard is probably the shyest game on Tahm Kench. He just goes for Anathema's chains early on, reduces the damage you deal to him, and he just sticks to you. And it's a very annoying matchup, and you have to shut the Tahm Kench out early. If you get the Tahm Kench rolling, he becomes just a nuisance to deal with. He's way too strong of a stat stick. Honestly, there's not a lot of outplay potential. He just runs at you. So we'll see if either jungle can get a good start onto the top lane. I like what Impunity are doing, are sending Epic towards the top lane. And we have to pay very close attention to how both of these players manage the wave. I think for Top King's side, he does want to push and get the reset, bounce back. I think that would be more favorable for him. Just put Liang into a bad position. In the meantime, Moonblack, this is always the biggest question with this player. How well can he actually do in the laning phase? Because from what we've seen so far, he has great team fight senses. He knows where to engage, where to join his team. However, his laning phase has not been up to snuff.
And that's what's kind of sunk Impunity a number of times, right? It's like Moonblack gets into a situation where he's lost so hard. He just doesn't really have the team fighting potential. So Aurelia being a very powerful champion does give him a bit of an edge here. The question is how well he pilots it, as you said. So we'll always have to keep an eye on the mid lane. Perhaps Epic takes a trip out there early. Oh, no, he gets caught up in the Rune Prison, the Overload combo early on. Not too bad, able to shrug most of the damage off. I do think the jungle pressure could come out of the mid or the top. Bot lane, probably going to be a little bit less interactive. But then again, it is Doggo and Kino, and they do like to get aggressive. Look at the shove they've already got going.
Yeah, just utilizing the fact that Impunity didn't leash for their jungle, so Beyond Gaming got into lane first, and also punishing that Alistar. Oh, as I say that, Kino
gets taken very low, turns around, gets the hook on, exhaust onto Blaze. A lot of damage being dealt as Smurf is trying to dodge it, force the flash out of the Impunity AD carry. Smurf, he gets flayed! And now this should be first blood. A lot of damage onto the cow. Doggo, he doesn't quite flash. No, he does! Oh, and they get the emote spam, the PSG coming out. Meanwhile, Husha took out Moonblack in that. And Epic just barely gets out by the skin of his teeth, so everything's coming up Beyond Gaming.
Yeah, once again, we see the story of Impunity split, just being crushed in the laning phase and not being able to play early on. That was so close to Impunity just getting the first blood there. That was a great play from Smurf early on, but unfortunately, the flash out of the auto attack, the flay to disrupt, and they get out with the first blood instead. Moonblack is coming into this one with a very large HP deficit. Now he flashes forward. A little bit perplexing. I don't think that flash was intended to go the direction it went, but he does not get out of Husha's auto attack range after that one and just falls down. And you know, I was watching the laning phase here, and Moonblack did go for a very all-in build with the Dorn's Blade start. Usually you do see, I was going to say that. He's gonna get out fine. We're very close to dying there, though.
Top King zones Liang very well, though. I mean, that's your silver lining to the plays in the bot and the mid, is that Top King is doing Top King things.
Yeah, that has kind of been Top King's story too. The entirety of the rest of the map is at a gold deficit, just on average, while Top King alone is holding about a 200 gold lead at 10. That is the snapshot of Impunity so far. So very unfortunate for them, and I do think this setup is a pretty lane-focused setup, so they cannot suffer this sort of lane defeats. But Moonblack finally getting his groove back with a great trade here.
Yeah, that's a good start. Ooh, Husha coming in. Hook does land as the lasso goes in on Smurf. I do like the synergy between the two players there, and that is going to be Smurf going down. Doggo will claim the kill. Nicely done as Kino wrangles himself an Alistar.
Yeah, really well done. Just catching Impunity a little bit too far forward, trying to hold the wave down. And here we have a all-in by Liang.
Going for it, but I don't think there's enough damage really there. Liang trying to bully, but Top King, he is overheating. This could be trouble. Has to wander into the brush. Going for the damage. Flashes out. Oh, and there's the Flash Tongue Lash. Liang does get the all-in kill. Meanwhile, back in the mid, the action ain't done as the Vanguard's Edge does get thrown down. Epic this time. Gets the kill onto Husha as Moonblack was staying alive through it all.
Really nicely done there by Moonblack. Does get his Ionian Fervor, a little bit of lifesteal to get him through that, and is able to survive the burst coming in. A big thing about this patch in Aurelion on 11.14 is the fact that her W does block out magic damage. The Moonblack is playing very close to the edge on that one.
Yeah, really playing close to the edge. Moonblack is somebody who does not know the meaning of limits, I think. Smurf and Blaze, once again, chunked out. Smurf just played back, nowhere to even go, as Blaze tries to get an answer on a Doggo, will get the shutdown gold, and he's able to walk away. A trade, ADC for support. I think Impunity, you kind of take that, but now Kino is in a position where he might actually try for the outplay, and he does. Just tanks up a couple of tower shots, and of course, you get the Mad Dog spam.
Yeah, pretty lucky on that one. Epic was definitely in position to just snipe off the kill. Looks like he is going to get it at the very end.
Kino knows his days are numbered. Well, we won't even watch that one as Husha goes down, or Husha takes Top King down, I should say. Kino does fall. Smurf will get the kill credit for it. Surely Epic would have liked it, but this game's gone a little kooky.
Yeah, it was I think a favorable play for Impunity in the bot lane. They do get a 3-kill shutdown, which is massive for Blaze to come back into this game. But in the meantime, if you look at Smurf, he's incredibly underleveled at this point. Just ticking over to level 4 as he gets back into the wave. And meanwhile, in the top lane, this is also the matchup I personally felt like we had to pay a lot of attention to, because this is one of those matchups where you have essentially double juggernauts that can swing to either side incredibly easily. And so far, it's going the way of Mega Bank Beyond Gaming. Liang was short on the Abyssal dive, but that's enough to fool Top King with a bit of action right there, and they're able to just snag off the kill. And no, Imposity strikes again.
Oh, we do have Imposity. Oh, you hate to see it. Yeah, so Impunity, they've been able to find a handful of answers, but on the whole, really just depending on a few mistakes from Mega Bank Beyond Gaming is not going to win you a game. I think proactivity and maybe not diving so deep sometimes. We've seen the traditional kind of like Moonblack limit testing a handful of times. He's had Epic at his back, but Epic can't be everywhere on the map. Top King starting to get bullied out there by Liang. It does, you see like kind of the small things starting to stack up, the small worries there for Impunity. And, you know, I think Beyond Gaming, they realize they have an edge in pretty much every lane as long as they don't go a little bit too deep.
So far, I actually think Moonblack has a decent advantage. Just trading kills 1-for-1, that usually does go.
That's true. He did get a good trade.
Yeah, to go forward on that. But the top lane is the one I'm really worried about. At this rate, you should be seeing the Tahm Kench just going straight for Ice Frost Fire Gauntlet instead of for the Anathema's Chains. he actually doesn't really need it. He could get the slowdown onto Rumble, and Rumble is playing with 24/7 no flash because he's just getting ganked. So that matchup to me is going to get a lot worse, and what I would like to see out of Impunity is actually, at this point, I think they have to consider potentially sacking the top lane and to getting a better Drake fight. Their composition is actually incredibly strong in a Drake fight. You use the Vanguard's edge to create a choke point as the other enemy team is coming into you, and then that's just your kill zone. You have the Equalizer go down, you have the Mega Infernal Bomb go down. It's so hard for the enemy to actually contest you when you actually have positional advantage. So that's what I want to see of Impunity. I think at this point, it's pretty safe to say that top lane's probably not going to get better. Mid lane has some chances, and I think bot lane with the shutdown gold actually is a lot closer than it appears.
Well, and when you have a Rumble with an Equalizer, there's a lot of ability to try and force those like narrow corridor fights. We've seen a number of those today that have really gone in favor of the team that just manages to bait it out, draw the team into a choke point, and utilize some of those AoE abilities. I think that red carpet is really, really effective at burning down enemy health bars. So there are a lot of tools that Impunity has if they can force Beyond into a fight. Around the Dragon Pit, I think would make a lot of sense, although it did look like right before we had to pause, it was Beyond Gaming that were securing up that first dragon. And we will, no, excuse me, it was Impunity. Aha!
Wow.
So they will be able to secure it.
We have been bamboozled, so Impunity coming back onto the map first. I don't think Husha actually backed after getting that kill onto top king, so they were open to just take that one away. And that's always great for them to start the stacking early on, as I feel like Impunity have to play very careful in this bottom side because Kino might be ticking over to 6 very soon. Don't want to be caught in the middle of the lane with the box up.
No, you do not. So, Impunity.
Oh, good roam.
Moonblack on a roam here.
He was spotted though.
I think, yeah, he's spotted, but they might still want to go for it if they feel like they're strong enough to do it. I mean, Doggo and Kino are very pushed very far up, and here comes Epic as well. I don't know what they thought they were doing. They maybe weren't looking at the mini-map there. Kino, there's the flay, the flash, and the hook back in. In fact, they think they can get the outplay, and it certainly looks like it, as Doggo gets the drop down onto Epic's head. A 2v4 outplay? Come on!
Oh, that is so illegal. How is that allowed to happen there? Kind of unfortunate that Impunity were not able to keep Doggo off of the Dark Passage the entire time. They still get the drag back on that one, and if you look at the map, this is so costly towards the top side. You had Top King having to use his ultimate to wave clear and then traversing towards the top, and Husha knows about this. Without the Equalizer, he has no chance to actually get a trade back on this tower dive.
And Top King, I think he's in some trouble here. Husha with the wraparound. Liang's going to lead a big chunk of minions straight into him. He does not have the Equalizer. He's going absolutely nowhere. Liang swallows up Husha. Moonblack teleports in, and he's just going to be delivering himself into the jaws of Mega Bank Beyond Gaming. Epic comes in a little bit late with the kick that does keep Moonblack alive. But this is starting to look a little oof for Impunity.
Yeah, typically does happen when you are that far behind. Oh no! He still goes for the minions.
Finds the overload. That's the double kill. And meanwhile, on the bottom, Doggo and Kino off the leash. Oh dear.
Beyond Gaming get 3 straight kills in a 3v3 situation. Oh, that's definitely not what you wanted to see. I feel like Moonblack was greeting for the minion wave, trying to clear with the Blade Surge, and that definitely wasn't the play. Maoan makes him pay for it, just using his allies. Oh, great find by Blaze, though.
Yeah, that's going to be something there. Is it enough damage? I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't look like it here. And Blaze is He can't do anything here. Smurf taking a lot of poke. Doggo still. He's got the Alistar in his sights. Doesn't have enough damage to finish him. Even takes a tower shot. So confident. Doggo has been unleashed this game.
Yeah, Doggo still has the heal, so he's willing to play super far forward, and a little bit unfortunate for Blaze, he wasn't able to land the Hextech Minefield. You can typically get like 4 procs of the E ability there, but doesn't find his target and allows Doggo to escape once again with Summoner intact. And I think it's fair to say at this point we are seeing the general shape of Impunity games is just laning phase collapse against some of the higher tier teams of the PCS.
Leon certainly knew that they could pull this off, and despite maybe a handful of mistakes, I think really the emblematic moment there is that dive down bottom. It was well telegraphed, but Doggo and Kino, they hold firm, they bait it out, they get a kill 2v4. I mean, it doesn't get much more lopsided than that.
Yeah, it was absolutely disgusting that they were able to find that. Epic even flashed out pretty early on, but the kill still went over. Throughout the roam, we saw pings onto Moonblack and Epic, so they were very well aware that the 4v2 was coming. And they just keep calm collected. They sold that incredibly well. I don't think many other duos would be willing to stay in a 4v2 and act like they don't know about it. But what a display of mechanics. That's all I can say about it.
Yeah, next level. Doggo now just pew-pewing away at the tower. Mega Inferno Bomb will land to clip the wave, but he's already taken off all the plates on his own, not even Rift heralded. Speaking of, Impunity will take the opportunity to start this one off, although Husha sniffs this out immediately. That's going to prop the Vanguard's edge, but Moonblack gets blown up by the Beyond Gaming junglers. Epic gets the kickback, nowhere to run though. Red Carpet comes down for Top King, but he is all on his lonesome trying to get the outplay kill, but Mawan saves the life of Husha, keeps it going, and that Rise is off to a roll, and they get the leash on the Rift Herald.
Mel didn't even do anything there. It was just a straight 2v3 that Mega Bank Beyond Gaming crushed Impunity with. Oh, that was very unfortunate to see. Moonblack is just so far behind at this point, doesn't even have the Blade of the Ruin King. This is a very, in Chinese we call it a crispy build, which means that you crackle basically at any amount of pressure being thrown at you. And Husha able to kill him with not much assistance from Malan. And Epic unfortunately did miss his opening ability, and they're going up against a Gore Drinker Husha who stood his ground and also just took down Top King. So yeah, when you see on the map you're getting 2v4'd and 2v3'd, usually not a great sign. And Liang is coming in with the most disgusting stat stick build I've ever seen. I feel ashamed for Liang. I'm sorry about this, but when you're ahead on Tahm Kench, going for the Swifty Boots and Frostfire Gauntlet right off the bat is definitely the way to go. This is how I thought he was going to build. He's not even going to go for Anathema's Chains, because let's be honest, Impunity doesn't do damage at this point. There's no need.
Yeah, and recognizing that, just able to pick up the stat stick instead. Doggo Kino now taking their place in the mid side. Husha able to solo dragons. I mean, Beyond are at a point where they can fan out and still accomplish just about everything they want to on the map. Impunity, credit to them, they did get that first Ocean. So if Mega Man Beyond Gaming wanted to stack dragons, it'll take a little bit longer. But the way they're playing right now, I don't think they're really going to need to. As Liang goes in, once again forcing the flash, and now eats up the Rumble. Spits him right back out, has no flash. Flame Spitter does absolutely nothing as it's pointed in the opposite direction, and Doggo even comes in to clean up the kill. It's going from bad to worse for Impunity.
Yeah, I feel like Impunity needed to invest more resources into the top lane. This is typically how Rumble top does go. If you aren't crushing your opposition, you're the one getting crushed. That's always how Rumble does, because he can't control his way. He has to push. And now we might be seeing Impunity trying to get something back against Mawan.
Oh, but Mawan, he just flashes out, turns it in. Rune Prison gonna take that party portal with 2, and Moonblack is a dead man. Every time. That bot side dive is cursed.
Oh, yeah. It's been going so wrong for Impunity. I like how Epic instantly turned tails and just started to run away. It's like,
nope.
Moonblack, I trust you. You got this. I got somewhere to go. I got a meeting or something.
Oh boy. And Doggo has just become a tower wrecking machine. Sure, he's pretty happy he's gotten to play Aphelios again. Has been pretty much a one-trick Varus for the last couple of weeks.
I have a feeling that we might be getting the fastest game of the split so far.
What was our current record? It's just about 20 minutes, I think.
Yeah, the current record is 20 minutes and 35 seconds. So, come on, Impunity. I think we're setting new expectations for Impunity as we move on into this game, Right now, it's survive to 20, 35. If they do that, then Liat are still holding the trophy to getting speedrun. So, let's go. 5 more minutes. We can do it, boys.
It'd be great if we had like an actual speedrun trophy.
Hell,
kind of a bit of a BM award to win, but still. I think it'd be fun. Anyways, Beyond Gaming, just firmly in control of this game. Impunity, or you know, it's gonna be a roller coaster. They're just gonna be trying to hang on.
Yeah. Not much to say about this one. I honestly feel like this is just out mechanic, to be honest. So. Oh, we
Impunity had
some
some
fun stuff.
Yeah, well, before we move on to it, I do want to say, like, Impunity had, like, they had some bright ideas. I think the dive down bottom, had it not been, like, completely repelled by just insane mechanics of Kino and Doggo, you know, I mean, I think that was the right idea. It's just, unfortunately, they just got straight up outplayed.
Yeah, that's yeah, not much more you could say about that. You know, unfortunately for them, they didn't get the flawless duet at the right spot. Now Impunity are just trying to stave off destruction. The Smurf gets a
That's a good combo. They had not enough damage to do it, but still, the setup was there. Now, can they find the damage on Husha? It doesn't look like it. There is a shutdown onto Maoan, however. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but some low health bars dodging out. Smurf makes sure nobody else dies on his watch. And a set of bombs hucked out there by Blaze to try and cut the wave off. Meanwhile, though, Top King, he's left out to pasture. And Kino, he's looking to rustle himself up a Yordle. That's going to be another kill for Doggo. Beyond keep on rolling.
Beyond Gaming do realize that Top King just reset his gold amount. He was 0-5 and not worth a lot. But after that kill, that's a fresh 300 gold bounty. So, you know, I guess well done by Maoan. Does refresh, and that's kind of a gold transfer redistribution towards Doggo. And in the meantime, Beyond Gaming still get to play onto the top side. So it was 1 kill for, I think, 2 traded back in 2+ towers. So Beyond Gaming still continuing to accelerate this game.
Epic. Oh no. He just ran straight into Liang.
Yeah, not much you can do at this point, honestly.
Let's take a look at that fight again up top. This was honestly, this was the perfect setup. It's just they're so far behind.
Yeah, it was incredibly beautiful and exactly what Top King Impunity's composition was built to do. They have long-range artillery potential. Fortunately for Blaze, he does get out of it, but they don't get the kill onto Husha. It's a 1-for-1 trade, and then 2 towers go over onto the way towards Beyond Gaming. Kino smells blood in this one. I love the cutoff. It's a 2 versus 3, but they're still willing to go ahead and just cut them off because Doggo is so fed at this point. They go underneath the enemy tower, pick up the easy 300 gold, and continue rolling. Taking a look at the clock, though, I feel like Impunity are going to escape with this one. Because
I think you're right.
Yeah,
it's not going to end at 2035. Husha, though, able to solo on the Dragon. Yeah, Beyond are having fun with this one, right? Like, if they really wanted to, like, actually get the speed run, actually get the fast finish, you know, they'd be moving around a little differently. They keep the split going. They keep having a little bit of fun by moving into the Impunity jungle and not letting them escape. It's just kind of like the slow choke out.
You know the reason why? They actually currently hold the speedrun record.
Oh, well, they don't need to add to it. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. They're happy keeping it at 2035, I guess.
It's crazy that Beyond just made such a transition from spring to summer and went from being one of the slowest teams to one of the fastest teams. Like, that's so wild to me. And I wonder, like, you know, they clearly got a lot of experience in that spring split. Also, Doggo, you know, going over to PSG for the MSI run, bringing back, you know, the knowledge, the secrets, the strats from the top dogs of the PCS. But at the same time, like, you know, this team very clearly, like, leveled up in a lot of ways, and they were already kind of a surprise smash hit.
If I had to guess, I would say the thing that Doggo most likely brought back was just their communication methods with their jungler. I think that is, typically every team has their own system, but that really is what separates the good teams and the elite teams. Just how close you can play to your jungle, having them show up at the right time. You have junglers opening up again.
Yeah, Smurf. Okay, they're actually going to hook them back once again. And will this be the big fight? Turning around, Top King starts by opening up onto Maoan. Maybe this is the chance for Impunity to find something here, but Moonblack just gets exploded. But not to worry, the rest of his team is going to follow. Only Blaze and Smurf left remaining. Man, sacrifice one, but they get almost the entire team on the back.
We got a taste of the concept album that Impunity was putting out, but unfortunately it was 2 years too late and it just didn't make the catalog, so...
Yeah, I think it's more of a mixtape at this rate.
Yeah, it probably was, you know? Just one of those old cassettes that you can rewind by hand. Very unfortunate. Maybe Smurf can find something here. Let's go, Cal. Oh, he doesn't even make it through the wall.
Oh, they just full on block him. That's going to be the ace, the Baron. All right, Beyond. Looking to put this one away. Doggo is just padding those stats today. He's making it look easy.
Yeah, they did get that one kill on him, so let's go Beyond. But let's take a look at how Impunity fights should have gone. I felt like they had a great teamfight composition for these jungle corridors. You see the Equalizer being layered down. Blaze comes in. He has the Hextech Minefield on Kino, and then they have the Vanguard's Edge. Everything actually looks perfect if they were on even footing. But because they weren't, everyone survives from Beyond Gaming side, and Doggo just kills everyone. And
oh my god, Liang just chases... This is disgusting.
Yeah, I know. I really think they're going to have to end up just nerfing Tom Kench again. Right now, he's not a support. He is a top lane stat stick that is a complete headache to deal with. Look how long that guy survives. Like, he still has his Grey Hell shield.
I think he's going to die here, but, you know, the rest of Beyond are going to get there in time to turn things around. Actually, somehow stays alive, saved by Kino. Tom Kench, the unkillable top laner, and Liang even picks up a kill. The double comes in for Doggo, and it's over. It is fully over.
I like how you were sounding optimistic and going like, Liang might die here, but man, it's not possible.
I bamboozled myself, I think, Clement. I was just like, oh, maybe they can do it, but no, he's just so gosh darn tanky. Husha flashing forward, a little bit of style, a little bit of fun. They're not even bothering to kill the bot tower. They just walk straight into the base, didn't even wipe their shoes off on the mat. How rude. But Beyond will be able to pick up much of the base, if not end it outright here.
Yeah, that's always something I tell my colleagues. In Asia, you take your shoes off before entering the house, okay? I'm very adamant on that being the right call.
It's just polite. I agree with you. Oh my goodness, Shelly even staying alive for a little bit while longer. This is the desperation fight to try and turn things around. Moonblack mixing it up into the back, but he's not finding a single kill. And now it is only Blaze left to watch as his Nexus goes down. And the party portal into the back. Blaze goes golden. Beyond Gaming don't care that they lose a couple out of that one. Very stylistic. I do love it. The commitment.
All right. Adding some stats for Blaze. He definitely carried this game. You know? He's got that 3 kills on board.
There you go. Little thumbs up he's thanking Beyond Gaming, but his Nexus will fall. Not the record setter, but it certainly was a quick game here as Beyond will find the victory over Impunity.
Oof. I love the concept coming out from Impunity, but unfortunately the laning phase just ended so quickly that they never really got to make use of all of those AoE crowd control abilities in the Drake fight. Beyond Gaming just showing that they have so many different levers. They have that teamfight capability, but this bit especially, their laning phase has just gotten so much more fierce. And with Leon back into the lineup, I think this is... Beyond Gaming really has multiple lanes that they can play through. We saw that level 5 solo kill coming in from Leon with the Tom Kench. Just gets behind his enemy, Rumble doesn't have any escapes, you stick to him and get the kill. It was so easy to accomplish, and once that happened, it was all downhill from there. He doesn't go for the standard build at all, just goes for the Swifties, and then follows it up with the Frostfire Gauntlet. It was just so brutal to see on the top side.
Yeah, he was stuck constantly to Top King and just was able to take him out over and over again. And that was a matchup that Top King opted into. I guess the Tom Kench being a flexible pick is one thing, but we talked at the beginning of the game that this was maybe an avenue. This is Top King's patch. He's very powerful on 11.14. He's been having some success, but unfortunately, even that lane started to fall apart. Moonblack maybe had 1 or 2 good plays with a little bit of help from Epic, but it just wasn't enough. And I honestly think, as early as it was, all the signs were there, and the first nail of many in the coffin, I think, was that 4v2 bottom dive that turned into an absolute disaster for Impunity. You watch that and you're like, it's telegraphed. There's no way they get out. There's no way they make the outplay. But Kino just gets like the flay, hook, walk away flash, and all of a sudden it's like, nope, everybody, we can't do this anymore. And they still get the kill on the counterplay. It shows the difference in mechanics between these two squads. Like, Beyond Gaming are just on another level.
Yeah, there's nothing much more to say about that. They don't really get the flawless duet before Doggo reaches underneath his own tower, so they can't follow up with the kill. Epic tanks a little bit too many tower shots, and they get the return. And meanwhile, on the top side, it was also very detrimental because we saw Top King having to use his equalizer to clear out the mid wave. He goes up top, and it's just an easy dive from there. Very early core drinkers for Husha. Look at this game. It's basically a one-way trip down the road, and Impunity are finding it really difficult to get a W anywhere. And you have to remember that Liab right now is only one loss behind them. So we're going to have to look forward to that one. Liab still have a date with Alpha Esports coming up. So these two teams, I think, are definitely on the verge and are most in danger of falling off.
Right.
As we do have Hong Kong Attitude and Berjaya with 2 more wins there, so they can kind of pad themselves against Liab, but Impunity doesn't really have that luxury.
Yeah, Impunity definitely have to watch their backs at the moment because it is just so close. Liab trying to close in. And of course, Doggo coming up with the MVP this time around. He certainly got unleashed and was able to do quite a lot on this Aphelios once again. No longer a Varus one trick.
Yeah, pretty fun to see both of these AD carries being released from their normal day-to-day duties. But once again, we're going to have Doggo coming back into a strong laning form. And they were going up against Impunity, which I felt like their weakest lane so far has actually been their bottom lane in terms of statistics. So we just saw a complete crushing of Smurf and Blaze, unfortunately. That happened very early on. We saw the tower, underneath the tower fight, where it was one auto attack away from them getting Kino, but they just couldn't do it. And yeah, this has kind of been Impunity's problem this split, just not being able to survive lane for their great compositions to actually have a chance to shine.
Yeah, they just haven't been able to find the answer. And, well, they still have a few more games to try and prove it. But we are going to go on a break, and when we return, it's going to be Machi taking on Alpha. So don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss it.